Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, January 19th. I'm Patricia Villone. Well, January 5th, 2 Prince George's Liquor Board officials were busted on bribery and conspiracy charges. Days later, former lawmaker Will Campos pleaded guilty in a similar case. Today, Governor Larry Hogan says he's had enough, and our Denise Douglas is here to explain. Denise?
Yeah, that's right, Patty. He said he's had enough. He says the public has had enough and just fed up with the whole situation having to do with corruption. Governor Larry Hogan spoke out strongly against corruption involving the liquor board and lawmakers. On the steps of the State House, he talked about the immense responsibility of serving the public and then went on to say that he will not, and I quote, allow the culture of corruption to grow. 2 liquor board members, as we just mentioned, and 2 business people have been charged in a pay-to-play scheme. In addition, former delegate Will Campos pled guilty to bribery earlier this month, and officials expect even more arrests, which the governor also referred to today as he condemned the behavior and introduced the Integrity in Government initiative meant to improve oversight and transparency.
An extensive federal investigation, which is still underway. We are now also painfully aware that current and former members of our own legislature, along with local government officials and others, have been abusing the public trust and using their offices for self-enrichment and criminal activity. This type of conduct is disgraceful. Initiatives we are introducing today are in an effort to restore the public's trust in our state government and to finally bring some transparency, accountability, and fairness to Annapolis.
The governor was clearly very passionate as he spoke about this. The Integrity in Government initiative includes several pieces of legislation that address redistricting, the liquor board, legislative accountability, and more, all meant to, as they say, keep them honest.
Well, is there any update on former delegate Michael Vaughn, who recently resigned?
The governor did not mention him in the news conference today, so we're just kind of still waiting and seeing what his status will be as rumors sort of swirl around that he could be involved in this entire thing. And the FBI still has it out there. There may be some future arrests here. Absolutely, and the governor also referred to the possibility of sitting lawmakers as well being arrested, but didn't give any specifics. All right, more to come on this. So thank you, Denise. Well, the 58th Presidential Inauguration is tomorrow, and tens of thousands of people will flock to D.C. for the festivities. If you're planning on taking the Metro, officials have some safety tips. First, do not hold train doors for other passengers and always stand back away from the edge of the platform. CTV spoke with riders at the New Carrollton station as they prepared for tomorrow's historic day.
I think everything's going to be fine. I was just down there and they have a lot of security, so I feel pretty safe down there. Probably leave early and park downtown by the ballpark and then take the Metro from there.
We're leaving early. We did lots of planning, lots of preparation. We are actually getting our smart cards and we are heading into downtown today just to make the trip, so we know what we're going to expect tomorrow.
These are for the march on Saturday.
Oh, really? Okay, so you're not attending the inauguration, but the Women's March? Yes, so there are going to be a lot of people down there. Are you worried about crowds at all?
Well, I mean, just the logistics. I'm not worried about safety, but getting down there is going to be tough, and it's going to be a lot of people, so I figured getting the fare cards in advance was a good idea.
While the nation gets ready to welcome Donald Trump and his family into the White House, 2 commuters explain why they went to the White House today.
We went down to the White House and just stood out in front of the White House to let President Obama know how much we have just loved and adored him these last 8 years, to thank him for all of his hard work.
And the class and like the integrity and honor he brought back to the White House, how he fought for the little guy and was a president to the big guy. Like, he just was the example. He walked the walk, talked the talk, and we appreciate it. And the swearing-in ceremony begins at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Well, County Executive RUSHERN is accusing the governor of reneging on his commitment for a new hospital to serve residents of Prince George's County and southern Maryland. Baker says in a statement, "I am concerned that Governor Hogan continues to be hesitant to fully support bringing the medical center to fruition." And some are saying that Governor Larry Hogan's budget proposal could be a violation of Maryland law. Lawmakers were expecting a mandated $30 million, but Hogan's proposed budget calls for $7.5 million in operating funds.
No, we're not satisfied about it. His priority is jobs, but how can people go to work if they're not healthy, if they're sick? So big, huge miscommunication there. It seems a little bit hypocritical by the governor.
I wouldn't be surprised if the governor did this just as a negotiating ploy. Maybe not. Maybe he really doesn't want health care service in Prince George's County, but I think it's more likely that it's a negotiating ploy. And so he's going to have things he wants, and so we're going to stand very closely together, the House and Senate delegations, and so we're going to fight for it.
And a spokesman for Governor Hogan says the budget proposal is flexible and he's not going to go back on the agreement that he reached with lawmakers last year. Well, as Republicans in Congress look for ways to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, many are bracing to see what impact that action will have on people throughout the state. A study released by the Maryland Department of Legislative Services says it could cost the state more than $4 billion by 2020. Today, the House Health and Government Operations Committee held a hearing to discuss the issue.
The number of uninsured Marylanders declined by more than 1/3. The primary driver of this coverage has actually been the expansion of Medicaid. Since 2014, MHB has enrolled, that's the health exchange, has enrolled about 150,000 individuals. And offers of employee-sponsored coverage have remained steady among large employers.
And political opponents of the ACA have cited high premiums and deductible increases as one of the many drivers of the repeal and replacement efforts. Well, you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Villone.